So I'm going to go ahead and just kick this right off by talking about lifetime value. So there is this phenomena that goes on in paid search, which is that we all use paid search because we believe that paid search levels the playing field for smaller advertisers. If you were to use a different medium, a different digital or analog medium of marketing, a lot of times you would be unable to compete with a much larger advertiser like eBay or Best Buy because you simply wouldn't have enough budget to buy a billboard that was as big as the billboard that they could buy. But there is still this inequality. Larger advertisers are often able to pay more for a click, and they're often able to pay more for a click than the click is even worth. So this is an actual real-life example of Walmart spending $15 on a click for a $10 stapler. So we're going to go into a little bit of why this is true and how you actually can compete, and then where your business kind of fits into the landscape of smaller businesses, mid-sized companies, and then these big sort of giants of digital marketing. Bigger companies simply know how much they can afford to acquire a customer. So we're going to talk a little bit today about understanding your lifetime value and your average order value and some of these other metrics that will make you a little bit smarter about what you can actually spend on paid search. So here is a very simple math equation. If you're selling a t-shirt for $10 and you make 50% off of that t-shirt, you can reasonably assume that you can really only spend $5 on a PPC ad marketing that t-shirt in order to break even. And this just makes perfect sense. You can say, I'm only making $5 on this, so I can really only spend up to $5. However, if you look a little bit closer, as those bigger advertisers do, you may learn something a little bit different about the way your business works. Say that your average order value is $70. The average person who comes to your site buys 7 of these t-shirts, and they tend to buy 6 times a year for 5 years. And you do all of these things to do things like build the cart size, and you have an awesome referral program. It's possible that your lifetime value for this customer is actually $1,200. And I wanted to mention that when we talk about these sort of averages, average order value, average lifetime value, it can get even more interesting. Really sophisticated e-commerce advertisers use what we call buyer profiles to take a look at the different types of customers that may be spending on their site and learn a little bit about how much they can spend on each type of customer. So you may have one type of customer who's a sort of one-time buyer that it costs a certain amount to acquire, and then you may have different types of customers who are more long-term buyers or who tend to buy larger cart sizes. And understanding these individually will give you so much more power when it comes to pricing out your pay-per-click conversions that you can pay for.
And that's not necessarily an easy thing to translate back into search, because then you have to figure out these types of buyers, do they search this way? Do they use this language? Are they looking for these products? One of the things that is pretty popular in a funnel analysis is to look at products that typically have a repeat purchase, and those buyers may target those keywords which may have a low first-time value but a higher predicted lifetime value. So, good tight ad group themes within your search campaign can be really important there, so you can price very specifically to keyword themes that are more likely to endure long-term buying cycles and repeat buying cycles.
Exactly. With this type of data, you can get extremely specific. And I want to show you an example here just to give you an idea of the type of stuff you're up against. This is a fantastic story from Kissmetrics where they went and found out what the lifetime value of a Starbucks customer is. Starbucks found out that their average customer lifetime value is $15,000, which may seem insane to us, but think about how much money you've spent at Starbucks in your lifetime, even if you're not a big Starbucks fan. But there is some good news, which is that we have this idea of these giants of paid search, the Starbucks, the eBays, the Staples of the world, and these people take things like lifetime value incredibly seriously. They have massive marketing teams, massive algorithmic tools, but you, as a sort of mid-sized company, maybe a larger SMB, you, just by coming to this webinar and just by opting into this, you are already in the 99th percentile. The vast majority of e-commerce advertisers who aren't the giants of paid search simply aren't that sophisticated.
It's really interesting. Again, I was saying, some of these folks, they've got, I like Amazon as an example, they've got this great cross-sell, upsell ability. They'll always show you what other people bought, things like that. but they're not a great search practitioner because they have so many products that all their ads are written algorithmically and by computer. They get actually really low click-through rate, and they just throw money at the problem. They're super inefficient with their search. They're kind of famous for spending a ton on search, but doing so really with poor metrics around it because they have such a broad list of categories to go after. If you're a little more specialized, a little more niche or focused with your products, you can produce really good search programs that will execute way better than an Amazon might.
So you can pat yourself on the back. As a more mid-sized and smaller advertiser, you're probably a lot more savvy if you're competing at all. And keep in mind that you're competing more with your peers if you're more of a specialty e-commerce advertiser, which all of you are. If you're not Amazon, you're essentially a specialty marketer.